I'm District Secretary Nancy Gamble Hatfield. It's Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014. This is a regular meeting of the Dublin San Ramon Services District Board of Directors. Presiding this evening is President Georgine von Peter-Leopold. We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Nancy. Director Benson. Here. Director Halkett.
Here.
Director Howard.
Here.
Vice President Duarte.
Here.
And President von Peter-Leopold.
Here.
Thank you.
Special announcements and activities.
Mr. President, von Peter-Leopold, members of the board, Nancy has the pleasure of swearing you in for your next 4-year term right now, and we will be swearing in Director Benson when you return from your vacation.
Perfect. Thank you. Fun. So if you'll repeat after me, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me.
I, Georgine von Peter-Leopold,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Georgine.
Thanks, Dawn. That always gets me, you know, when you think about what you're saying. Okay, thank you very much. Item number 5 is public comment. This is the time when any member of the audience can address the board on any item that is not on the agenda. No member of the audience wishes to address us. Then we'll move on to item number 6, reports. Reports by general manager and staff.
Yes, President von Peter, members of the board, I'll be very brief. It's raining.
I know, yay.
That's the event of the year, and we hope to see more of it in the weeks and months to come. In terms of correspondence to and from the board, you each individually received a letter from Assembly Member Joan Buchanan as she's leaving office, dated November 24th, identifying some of what she was proud of as her accomplishments. That's the only correspondence that the board has received since your last meeting. And that concludes my report tonight.
Okay. Anything that we need to move around on agenda management?
I think we can go straight to that.
Okay, great. Then let's move on to item, let's see. reports. Is there anything anybody wishes to add to the committee reports, which we've just seen? Okay. Approval of the minutes of November 18th. I think we've all received the revised editions.
Yes, I did too.
Okay,
I like the revision.
okay.
I'll move approval with revision.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the November 18th minutes with the changes received in writing today from our secretary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Consent calendar. These are the items on which we normally pass with one motion, and usually there is very little discussion or disagreement on these. If there's any member of the audience or any member of the board can pull an item.
I'm going to pull 8A.
Which one?
Just A.
Okay.
And move on 8B and C.
Okay, it's been moved that we approve A, B, and C.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Halkett, item 8A.
I just thought 8A was so super cool that I didn't want to do a consent by itself. Anytime we can expand the wastewater, the recycled water system, it deserves its own vote. So I will gladly move approval of 8A.
I will second.
Aye.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt 8A, and I couldn't agree with Mr. Halkett more. The amount that we're going to be saving from the Alameda County facilities is enormous. Really should have passed probably our goals for the use of recycled water. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
A very enthusiastic aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Item 9, board business, discuss drought management program.
Mr. President, I'd like to hear members of the board. You have a series of actions before you tonight, 6 of them actually, related to the drought as we move into 2015. Knock on wood, some of these may not be needed in final analysis if the weather pattern continues, but I think prudence requires you to consider these. Back on May 5th, we went through a similar series of actions to declare an emergency, establish drought stage rates, establish a number of programs to help our customers, etc. A number of those programs are expiring on December 31st, including the actual state of drought emergency. So what we're going to ask you in the next series of items is to go through and extend those programs that are scheduled to expire on December 31st, to extend those through June 30th of 2015. The reality is you'll be looking at this as you've done every month since then, in January, February, etc. And if for some reason the events change for the positive or for the negative, you always have the option at any one of those months to come back and tweak this, but just administratively, so streamline how to take actions like this every month going forward. So there are actually 6 items. Those are the establishment of or the continuation of the community drought emergency, the water use curtailment guide, approval of the water user credit for 2015, endorsing our drought action plan for the first half of 2015, and approving an expenditure budget amendment related to these drought management activities. The items with the stars on this summary in red, which is what confused me just a minute ago, are items that will also continue automatically to June 30th, provided that you continue the declaration of emergency. So you don't have to take separate action on each one of those. So there's nothing needed to be done on this item 9A other than we put this on here because very often these things are interwoven and interlinked, and if you wanted to ask some overall programmatic questions about it, now it's in doubling back and forth on each of the individual items.
Okay. Does any member of the board have any additions or questions about the drought management program?
One quick one. Our neighbors, and we were puzzled to. One, is their program set up this way where they have expiration and are they making similar actions
I believe Livermore, Pleasanton, and Zone 7, water is an industrial utility, I understand is different. Those three organizations, their community drought emergencies extend until terminated by June. So there's for whatever reason, we thought it was just going to be the 24th.
And then all the stuff will be unwound with a simple vote.
All the
Things
things
that are kind of,
Yes, it is.
no trivia and stuff.
No two weeks, right?
Okay. There's no further direction. Let's move to item 9B. Accept water supply demand and drought response action plan status reports.
Mr. President, I'm Peter Leopold, members of the board. This is the monthly report that we present to you on how the district's water supply and demand are going. And we provide information on the various actions we also start accomplishing the drought management plan. Bottom line is we're into a new water year. We've been in a new water year since October 1st. It's kind of like a federal fiscal year, if you will. We're having our first significant rainfall right now. So the year is starting off well. We're starting off in a huge deficit. One of the key variables I look at is just the storage in Lake Oroville. And I think I gave you some figures on that. And if you look at some of the graphics on that, it's absolutely frightening. Hopefully this rainfall will continue to have some, we'll start turning that around. But basically the lake is at 24% capacity right now. Some of the pictures are just absolutely dramatic. The bottom line is that's where our water ultimately originates from. The state parks water treatment facilities around and things storing water underground. But if there's no water in Lake Oroville in the long term, that means there's no water. So that's where we have to start from. Right now the lake is actually lower at the start of the water year than it was in 1976, 77. Or at the end of 76, 77. Now in 78 it started raining pretty heavily and the lake started filling rapidly after that. But right now, if the lake doesn't fill, we're going to be probably in a worse situation than we were at that time. And that lake is serving significantly more people throughout the state than it was at that time. So that's really the key variable I advise you to watch as we go forward through the water year. The other key thing is, and it made a lot of news, is the State Department of Water Resources issued a first allocation, 10% allocation. They purposely went conservative at the beginning of the year. Of course, last year I think they came out with a 10% initial allocation. They only got worse. But hopefully it'll get better this year. But at 10%, that's basically where we were starting last year. And I think a key variable in that is the lake levels, the water levels. So if you have any questions on any of the detail, there's a lot of it, and I'm glad to answer your questions. I know that the community is doing very well with regard to conservation. We're overachieving here. We are now through the end of November, which is not in here because we just have to get it this week. The service area on residential water use basis is using 56% per day. And I've heard numbers out of San Francisco in the high 40s. So, we're really doing well. I'm really proud of the people in our service area also responding to this problem.
I just had one question talking about Lake Oroville. Do you happen to know what fraction of that lake's capacity, what fraction of the water that goes to Lake Oroville comes from snow melt? How long are we going to have to wait to know?
The answer is, I think, essentially all the water comes from snow melt, although obviously that's not true because if the water falls into the lake, it doesn't. But essentially all the water comes in the form of snow melt. The question is, with global warming and climate change and all that, the storms are wetter, projected to be wetter and earlier, so there is not as much. The snowpacks are the largest reservoir in the state, and those ones having all that water up on mountains, May, June, and July. Long term, that's not projected to happen. And how that, I just don't know off the top of my head how it translates to Oroville. Although if you're really interested, I can have something.
No, I just think we probably won't know until May, at least.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also, we won't know until they get snowpack data.
Watch the snowpack data. The snowpack data is running about that's a very good thing.
That's why I was pleased that we got the rest of this about turn-offs on the sprinklers. And my neighbors asked, this is great, I love rain, but it doesn't, you know, the water that comes out of our pipes doesn't go this way. But it will allow us to turn sprinklers off, maybe it's safe, so.
Very nice.
Keep getting the water out there. It's just like this, it was turned off.
Just keep praying for rain. Okay, we need to accept this one by motion, so if nobody has any further questions? It's been moved and seconded that we accept item 9B, the water supply and demand and drought response action plan status report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. Okay, item 9C, continue the state of community drought emergency through June 30, 2015, and rescind resolution 26-14.
Mr. President, I'm here, and members of the board, this is the heart of what we're doing today, is to continue the state of emergency through the end of the fiscal year, through June 30th. The resolution that you mentioned that's going to be rescinded for is the resolution we adopted back on May 5th that set it up, so we wanted to start anew with this one. Now, you're doing this by resolution, as I mentioned earlier. By taking this action and extending the state of emergency, we will also automatically extend the water use curtailment goals, which is a 25% targeted reduction year to year over 2013. You are continuing the water use limitation ordinance in effect, continuing the funding and enforcement provisions in effect, stage 3 water rates will continue in effect, and the enhanced rebate programs that will offer to our customers, which is with the adoption of this, because those programs were all tied in the existence of the emergency. I would recommend that you adopt this ordinance and extend the emergency through June 30th, with the understanding that, as Director Halpern mentioned, you can come back at any time and adjust it or call it off if you want. It will be reported to you on a monthly basis.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Malcha?
I think it's obvious we gotta have this now, so I would move for approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the resolution continuing the community drought emergency through June 30th, 2015, and rescind resolution number 2614. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. Okay, item 9, approved waterways user credit.
President Bonita, this is the Wise Water User Credit. Remember last year we had the same program for part of the year, and the credits that were given out were $10,780 for over 1,000 customers. This would have the program established for the calendar year 15, which means the payment would actually occur in 2016. The estimated amounts are approximately $27,000 for an annual basis, but because the payment will not be made until fiscal 16, there's no budget adjustment proposed in item 9. Any questions at this point?
So I have one. If the drought emergency, if we're actually able to expire the drought emergency in June 15th, would it make sense to have this credit trigger, at that point, we're back to normal, like it says, we have this credit trigger after the emergency is over.
That's correct. The credit is actually $2 per basis. So if you terminate the drought emergency, you would process it at that time. You come back to it.
Okay, so we do a little budgeting check. So we're not going to wait 6 months. If this thing goes per plan, we'll do it.
We've learned how to do it this past time, so the only thing is you can't estimate as we're going along, as to who's qualified to send in a check against the bid this year.
Okay.
Any other questions?
There was about 1,000 customers that you
1,070, it was the finals that qualified.
And that was over a 5-month period, right?
Yes.
Variable standard, tier 1.
Yeah, they stayed at what they usually do before too.
Okay? No motion yet.
Then I will move to approve.
No, second.
It's been moved that we approve the resolution authorizing the wise water user credit through 2015. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay, item 9E, endorse the 2015 drought response action plan.
Yes, President Bonita, do welcome to the board. This is staff's recommendation to adopt the drought action plan. Essentially, the action plan we're proposing maintains the same activities we've been following for the last 7 months. Those include everything from public outreach, some conservation assistance. You know, remember we have a program where we had a landscape contractor that we made available to residents that we would help setting their irrigation timers and making small repairs of their irrigation system. It also includes enhanced rebates. Again, this is a continuation of the same rebate program as the past 7 months. Expanding recycled water use, of course, we'll be connecting the Alameda County facilities, hopefully later this spring or early summer, and then the Western Dublin project will be under construction next summer, and we'll be hooking up people as quickly as we can there. And it also includes a continuation of the commercial truck loading station as well as the residential recycled water program. We'll continue our enhanced customer service, and that's Aquahawk, which has been very popular and I think very useful for customers as well as staff. The Wise Water User Credit Program that you just approved and talked about. Irrigation adjustments, again, I mentioned assistance there. And we also have in here pursuing some short-term temporary water sources. We are looking at upgrading our existing emergency interties to be more semi-permanent, if you will. Right now, they're very much a very temporary hose connection, and this will be making those a little bit more permanent. We're going to continue to encourage and support Zone 7 in their efforts to find more water and also explore the potential of some retail water transfers that we could bring into our service area too. So all of those things are part of the drought action plan, and we're recommending that the board approve that. This would be activities through June 30th.
So this takes into account some of the things that the roundtable discussed pursuing this year?
Well, the round table, of course, yes. I think that would be fair to say. And I think as you're familiar with, we are looking at creative things too there, along those lines. That's a fair thing to say.
Well, I know it's going to take some, if nothing else, the first thing is going to take some staff time, so as long as that's thought about in these. Okay.
Well, in regard to the staff, I would comment on that, and I appreciate you bringing it up. It will take some staff time, it was thought about, and I hope the board can appreciate that because of a few other things have been reprioritized and are not moving along as fast as we thought they were going to move in 6 weeks. That's reality this time. This was our priority for the last 8 months, and it continues to be priority for the next 6 months as well.
Well, I continue to read about all the wonderful things that seem to be going on all over the state, and I'm amazed. San Diego's looking at direct injection of wastewater and using desal, and it just seems like there's so many things that they're attempting, although I know we're still walking on eggshells around here, but...
As you know, that talk is changing.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
When you guys sit down, on the fiscal impact it has on this particular item, it says that we are remaining of 15,522. Is on page 1 as of November 26th, we're showing a deficit of 8,900. It shows encumbrances, but expenses is 104, but expenses is 80,000. so I just want to make sure. It shows we have 15,000 remaining, but we're at negative 89 for FY 16.
Correct, Benson. That, if you remember, the spending that we had budgeted was over 2 fiscal years, and it was a total of $300,000 over the 2 years. There's roughly 15,000 left from that initial 300,000.
Because the 24,000 was encumbered, right? Okay, that's all I needed.
Yeah, there's a little split between the 2 years.
No, I understand. That's exactly what I was going to ask earlier, so that sounds perfect.
And if I could, a couple of numbers that I know I checked when John and I were putting this together were, if you look at attachment 1 to item 9E, the fiscal impact, sort of the summary from May 5th onwards, it showed remaining of the $150,000 authorization at that time, remaining number 15,522. And if you jump ahead to the very next item, 9F, and you look at attachment number 1 and look at what our estimated costs are going forward, we have that 15,000 available there, which reduced, which was credited against, because we're still in the same fiscal year, which was credited against expenditure of 165. So that's why we number that. So I think the
Okay.
numbers.
As long as it looks like it got sold over, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's all correct, unless we miss something. That's only 2,000.
No, it does the math, so I'm full. I just wanted to make sure that was brought to everyone's attention. Just in case, like, we understand it, but maybe somebody else doesn't.
Okay.
Okay.
I was going to ask about alcohol. Are we funding that strictly through this drought emergency, or is that a permanent thing?
And it's a permanent program, and
That's what I wanted.
will be handled by operations.
Good.
The operations.
So it'll show up in next year's
In
budget.
the budget. And if you remember, that was pretty cheap.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just don't want to see it go away.
We actually did some enhancements to Aquahawk and paid for those from drought funds. But those were enhancements that were lending themselves very well to the drought and our efforts to try to enforce the restrictions.
Okay. So if there's
All right.
no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I have one more question. Are we going to do anything with, are we going to add anything with the school program? I don't know if Sue's there.
What do you mean by add anything? Are we adding school programs? Is that what you're asking?
I was wondering if we're adding more funding, a little bit more funding for school programs through the outreach.
Well, the funding is actually the next agenda item, and
Okay.
we'd like to cover it when we get there.
Okay.
All right.
All those in favor?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the drought response action plan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Let's move on to item 9F. Go ahead.
Sorry, jumping a little. As the Bonita board members, the next item is the funding for the projects that Dan just mentioned.
Maybe that should have come first.
What's not in there is no line item right now for school funding amounts. There is some substantial money in there for the temps working at the recycled water facility, some permanent conversion of potable water to recycled, the intertie work, and of course advertising and outreach program. I think, like we did this year, we would evaluate the programs as we've come along within the budget that was given here. As Bert mentioned, there's a request for an additional $150,000. Remember, that is half of an annual spending amount. The rates are set to recover $300,000 on an annual basis. So we would be back in the next budget cycle to do that next part of the next year.
John, if I could, item number 12 on attachment 1. It's public outreach related to school, the public outreach public outreach related to schools. And it's shown there, and this, I mean, I don't know the details of this, but I trust that you and staff look at this. But the school education materials that we use in the first half of calendar year 15 are already in stock, so we don't have any expenditures. It's not to say we're not going to distribute it, but we have to do it in stock.
So they don't need any money at all?
Not in this, not from January through June. We'll be requesting more money into the next fiscal year in the budget process.
And it could be done through the regular budget and operating budget also.
But we have that material
Okay.
in stock.
So that'll be done through the operating budget? Okay.
Well, and they said that they have a lot of the materials already in stock, so it's just a matter of distributing them to the schools the next 6 months. We already have them. Okay?
Right. And also, John 7 does a lot of schoolwork, right?
They do.
Okay.
All right, any more questions?
Nope.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval to amend the fiscal year 2015 operating budget related to district drought response.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we amend the fiscal year end 2015 operating budget related to the district drought response. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. Okay, item 9G, selection of president and vice president for the year 2015. I will open the floor for nominations.
I would like to nominate as our next president, Mr. Edward Duarte.
I'd like to second that.
All those in favor of Mr. Duarte as our next president, or, well, let's put it this way, are there any other nominations? Okay, now, all those in favor of Mr. Duarte as our next president?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously carried. For those in the audience, we have an automatic rotation policy that our board had adhered to for probably 30 years. So it makes things very nice, non-controversial, and just takes you 5 years to rotate through the board. Okay, I'll open the nominations for vice president.
I'd like to nominate Pat Howard as our next vice president.
It's been moved and seconded that, oh, excuse me, are there any other nominations? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that Mr. Howard be nominated as our vice president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Now, our two nominations, I'll move, should be voted in by acclamation.
We already did this, wasn't it?
No, we nominated them. Now you have to vote them in. Come on, somebody second my motion.
I second you.
Thank
I
you.
second you. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, I just like Robert's rules, you know.
Okay.
You nominate, then you elect. All right, congratulations, gentlemen.
Congratulations,
I-
Ed and Pat.
I hate giving up my seat, but, you know. Okay, we move on to item 10, board member items. Any board member items? Mr. Howard? Mr. Duarte?
Just to mention, Director Benson and myself attended, along with Kurt and Dan, the San Ramon City Council meeting last Tuesday evening, where he delivered his update on the drought situation. I think it was received well. Not too many questions, but the audience was primarily young folks and we were getting some team sports, and they all left, and there was
Yeah.
half a dozen people left. Anyway, good presentation, I think it was went very well. It was certainly well appreciated by staff.
Yes, it was.
Mr.
It was
Halkett?
wonderful.
Mr. Halkett?
I have none.
Dawn?
I have one also, in addition, one additional one. I did attend the San Ramon City Council meeting with Director Duarte, President Duarte now, and Bert and Dan. It was very well done. The council was very happy with and pleased with the results and the meeting information. Also, I attended the East St. Mud on the 19th of November, attended along with Herman, and actually, Mr. Maddow was with me too, the Drought Rate Committee meeting at the Castro Valley Library. And so East St. Mud, Richard Harris from Conservation, Sophia Skoda from the Treasury, and in charge of the rate. Alex was there, Director Folk, Director Mellon, and Director Lenny were all there, and they answered questions on the proposed rate changes that are coming up. There's a surcharge, there's a surcharge of 14% going to be added for the supplemental supply, and why they're preparing to take more water. So it was a very, very, very good meeting, lots of good questions, and I stood up and offered everybody recycled water, so that seemed to be a very good positive gesture. And Frank really thanked us. He thanked our entire board and staff for being such great support and partners in the recycled water of Durla. So really, really, everybody, he was just so thankful, and people in the audience were thrilled that they could come out to the plant. So I did give a few cards off and mentioned to talk to Dan Gallagher and to the folks that he's at our facility.
Okay.
So that's my report. Otherwise, it's really nice here.
Be quiet, it's pouring here.
Okay. That's how I'm missing it.
Yes, you are. Okay, and I have nothing to report, but at this time I will pass the gavel to Mr. DeForte.
Hold on, I have one more question. Sorry, guys. There was an article in the Honolulu Star over on Sunday, and it was called "California's Rich Still Guzzle Water as Drought Wears On." It was a whole article on the Rancho Santa Fe area in Southern California, really North County, San Diego. And it said that they've chosen not to adhere to any of the restrictions, and they've only saved 1.5% to date in that area. So I'll forward this article. I just thought it was really interesting, and especially since my old water agency is right next to Rancho Santa Fe, and we do have some Rancho Santa Fe people in ours. So it was just it was really interesting because they said this isn't Connecticut. So I'll forward this all of you guys can get a kick out of it. That's it.
Okay.
Before we adjourn,
Don't we have to go to a closed session?
Yes.
but hold on now.
Just wait a minute.
As the incoming president for the next year, it's my pleasure to hand this beautiful plaque to you.
Oh, thank
In
you.
appreciation of your service, and appreciation of your service to the district. With the new logo. With the new logo?
Yeah, I guess I'll have the first one with the new logo. Thank you. This is beautiful. And I,
Congratulations.
thank you. I want to thank all of you for your assistance in my year. I've enjoyed it. As you probably all know, I love running meetings, so. Actually, I love being in control. It doesn't have anything to do with running meetings, huh? But thanks, staff, and we're going into closed session, so for the moment, we'll adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Oh, the closed session is correct. Yeah.
At this time, the board will be
Thanks,
going.
Nancy, for all you did.
welcome.
Go out and get a pina colada.
That's exactly what I'm headed next. I will post proceed and I, actually,
We're
yeah.
still trying to do some business here, please.
At this time, the board will be going into closed session for one closed session listed on it.
I think you should have a meeting in Hawaii.
Can you mute that, please?
We'll pay our own way, we will pay our own way.
Mr. Brown is not so appreciative of that concept.
Yeah.
Because they have to have a majority of the board members within the jurisdiction, unfortunately.
Oh, so 3 of us have to stay here?
Three of you would have to stay here,
I
you
should
could do
know that.
rotations, but we have an announcement before we go into closed session.
If there's a report from...
Are you still there?
It will be announced as open session. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe she already had her mic.
I think so.